Okay, hello again everybody, it's me, Richard Clark, or wushurichard, you know my name online, I'm wushurichard. I want to say hello to everybody, and hello again to Josh, okay, that's UNCLECOW, who's inspired me to make this series. Welcome everybody, and I mean everybody, to this. This is the first proper video in the series of the Chairbound martial arts, okay, or Chairbound Kung Fu. We're talking about a lot of different training, okay. Okay, before we begin, let's talk about, one more time again, let's review what it means to be chair-bound, okay. Chair-bound means you're in a seated position, and it's not really by your choice. But we're talking about martial arts in a seated position. Now, let's just get straight onto it, okay? Let's get straight onto it. There's different kinds of training you can do. There's training you can, there's ways you can apply and use the techniques of martial arts when you're in a seated position, excuse me, and train to be really good. But it is taken from your stand-up style, you know, your normal martial arts. Excuse me while I blow my nose, okay? Excuse me 1 second, guys. Well, thank you for your time watching this video. As I say, I've been recovering from a cold recently, so nobody's invincible. Nobody's invincible, although we train to be. Huh? Hold on 1 second, sorry. Wow, man. Sorry, guys, I'm coming. We're back, dude. Okay, so we're talking about, as I say, training and different methods of training in a seated position to be able to apply power. But in order to be able to apply power, you need to have power. It comes from the mind and is channeled through the body, okay? And that's the health, you know, and that's the martial arts. You want to, in different ways, okay, you got the mind, spirit, you know, all that, you know, and you know, the flow of your energy in your body, the blood, the chi, your ki energy, whatever, you know. You got the gong fu as such, you know. Your body needs to be flexible to some level. Now, regardless of your lower half, if you do have such restriction, this is a very important point, okay? This is very important. We're just going to get straight into it now. We have to talk about the body. Well, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the chair. You're sitting there, and you're in a chair. Excuse me. Excuse me. I want to just mention the breathing is also very important, okay, also. Okay, but what I want to say to you is, it's like a relaxed position anyway. People naturally, okay, when people sit in a chair, it's usually like a relaxed position anyway, isn't it? But is it like a slumped position, or is it like a back straight? Or is that uncomfortable or uncomfortable? Is there any, now talking about problems with the body, well, let's go a bit again, okay? With a standing position, you might be all tense in a fighting position, but when you sit down, you suddenly relax. The goal is to be like relaxed and powerful, either sitting or standing, okay? And powerful at the same time, not relaxed, so, you know, slumpy, sloppy. So what I'm trying to say, okay, is if you're sitting down in a chair, what is the deal with below? Now, I'm not trying to put this out funnily, okay? I mean, people still can, I don't know how to put this, I mean, go to the toilet, right? I mean, it's like you're not like you've got no feeling in your body, right? I don't know, but some people maybe don't, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, it's like, to which degree? It's like the feet, it's serious. Is it the feet? Is it up to the knees? Is it the knees? Is it one leg, both legs? You know, the whole leg? Does it include the waist? This is important. And does that go up, how far? Is it to the back, the lower back, the whole back? Is it part of that affecting that? It will affect the structure, of course. Is it because of that which part, or to whichever degree, or whichever side, or the whole thing that's affecting your whole upper body. Does that affect the upper body? Because you've got to remember, in a standing position in martial arts, when I'm standing, usually you're standing in a rooted position, they say, like Wing Chun or Tai Chi, they say, it's coming up from the legs, and you feel the root. They teach that in going through, Kung Fu training. They teach, that the roots should be coming from the ground up a tree, up through your feet, up that, into your waist, into your back. And when you're doing the techniques, you can feel the power, and all that, when you're doing the techniques. So what I'm trying to say is, some people, have good movement of their body. They have a little bit of movement in their upper body, even in that seated position, although it's going to be hard to move in a chair, anybody, even me. But is it affecting, not you, I would say, anybody watching this, is it affecting you so much that you can't move to a certain degree or at all with your upper body? Because if the answer is yes, and you can only move, let's say, your neck, if that, and your arms, then you're restricted. Because Kung Fu, again, they say, I'm just saying it, it's like in martial arts, all martial arts, it's like, they usually say it's not just your legs and arms, not just legs and arms, it's the whole root, the whole thing together from the core. You have to have some power in your body and channel your breath and the energy and the chi through that, from the ground up into your body and through the lungs, into your mind, the heart, the whole thing together. That's what it's really about. Channeling, feeling the energy all around you. You're like a tree, you're standing in the forest, let's say, you're feeling the energy all around you, the trees. Not living in a dream world, but you just stand, you can feel that in connection with everything. You see what I mean? So when you're sitting down in a chair, it's like, you've got to think about your whole body structure. Now, is it such that you can't physically feel your lower section to whatever degree, as in physically feel it, or you can, or you just can't move it, or it's got some kind of, to different degrees, or is it that you can use your mind power, that you can still feel it as such, if you know what I mean? So you can still feel your whole being from your mind power, say, the Kung Fu martial arts way. That is the deeper training, you see. Excuse me. Oh man, you hear that? Nearly busted my, I nearly busted my fucking neck, bruh. That's what I tell you. I say it? I'll just pass out on this bitch. Right here, yeah. I say it, bruh. Excuse me, I've got to check the camera, it's making funny, it's okay, let's just go funny right there. I don't know what's going on. I think it's taking photos or something. Yeah, anyway, that's what I was saying, yeah. So, you're standing there, you're sitting there, that's what I always say, you're sitting there and it's like, are you able to you yourself, even without martial arts and all that meditation and focus, deeper that way, have you ever been able to focus on your lower body and be able to feel it as such, as a whole unit, an entity, as a whole being? And physically through the spiritual, or are you able to connect with that in some way? If you've always been, chairbound, I guess it would be easier in some way to do that, I guess. I don't know, but I'm just saying, if you're able to feel your whole body, feel the energy around you, although, that's going to help you in some way, I feel, to understand the training for the upper body. But again, the actual movement and the restriction of certain moves, it's there, but then again, going back to something else, you don't need to necessarily do such big movements. You don't necessarily need to turn and so big and do such. You can do subtle movements and still do a lot, but you have to understand subtle, powerful martial arts. And sometimes by studying big movements, as I said before, studying Tai Chi, let's say, you can understand a lot on the subtle when you go into the small. And do small, you can understand it more because you understand the whole structure. It's going to give more power. You understand how the subtle turn, how the waist connects. You understand that because you've been practicing balance on a bigger level, a bigger scale. You can feel all the details. But what I'm trying to say, okay, is if you are, chairbound, it's going to take a lot of training. You can practice a lot often. You can't make fun out of it. You can't make it like I'm just joking you on a chair. thinking I know everything and that, like because I'm not chairbound and such, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not trying to say that I know everything about martial arts. I'm just trying to say, you know, from the experience I had in the martial arts, people will be watching, you've got to study and understand what I'm saying and take what I'm saying and showing into account, and actually take your time to practice the certain techniques I will show. And secondly, to practice all aspects of that in terms of taking a technique, thinking about it further for yourself, or at least the idea, and playing around with that in your own way, and thinking what else, seeing what else you get from that idea, and putting that into practice, as well as practicing the actual technique itself, each one. So, you know, let's say, you know, you can be practicing any kind of form of like blowing hand positions, you know, breathing, gathering your energy around it. It might sound crazy. You might say you're not willing to accept that. It's like a magical dream thing. But no, I'm telling you it is, because you're feeling the energy all around you. Breathing, you know, just certain breathing, you know, and feeling the energy, like, kind of like qigong kind of thing, you know, like meditation, qigong, all this kind of stuff, yoga, you know, you're listening to certain music, or sitting there, you know, practicing your sound, you're listening around to it, in tune with all your senses, your balance, getting more feeling within your body than your whole body as a whole. Like you're inside this ball of energy and you are the centre, and you feel that from your legs and your whole body, no matter what. Okay? When you're there, you're in a train station, close your eyes, imagine you're in a train station, just imagine, you know, so listening to like sounds around you, whatever, or try to imagine where a sound's coming from, or things like that, you know what I mean? And feeling and playing all kinds of imagination, things like that. So there's a lot of training that takes the mind over matter, you know what I'm trying to say, yeah? And then breathing through the lungs, you know, and feeling the energy in the chi up through your legs, it's going so deep, you know, and through your whole body. Where do you think all this like healing stuff comes from, and all these things that people practice and that, or all these kind of hypnosis? I'm just trying to say it comes from the mind, and mind over matter. The mind is a powerful weapon, my teacher used to say, or let's say a tool, I would say. It's something you can use to do great things, okay? Now, in the fighting instance though, there are simple techniques you can do with your hands, let's say, to block and strike back, and utilise fighting techniques to great ability, okay? Still in a seated position, okay? So that's what I'm going to cover here in this video, and just say that to you, okay? Thinking about that. Just keep picking my nose here. I will say one more very, very important thing before we stop this video. It's very relevant, okay? Very relevant. And that is, in traditional martial arts, usually we talk about going out in a lower stance. You're not always in a high stance anyway, are you? You want to be out in a lower stance, sometimes very rooted, so you can, like, in Tai Chi especially, so you like sitting low. I'm sitting here now. You know, why do you think there is like Marbu and things like that, or different sort of horse riding stance, right? Now I'm sitting on this stool with my legs spread here. Do I want to get somebody kicking in my ball bags? Excuse my language, I'm just trying to say it. I'm just speaking out of ease, I'm just joking around. But do I want somebody to kick me here in my nuts, okay? No. So putting my legs in certain positions. If I'm sitting in a chair like that and I can't open my legs so far, fair enough, or for whatever restrictions of my body, you could even be sitting like this. You know, that's not a good position to be fighting in, is it? You might say kicking away, not a lot of angle, right? So you let feet together, your knees together, or slightly spread. Is it permanently one leg in one position or whatever, okay? Things like that to think about too, okay? Are your legs up in this position, both rested out, you know? Another thing, okay? Where are your feet like resting upon some kind of, you know, part of the chair there, like let's say, and part of the chair where your feet are above the ground, like a wheelchair would be, things like that. So there's a lot to think about, and that's what I'm trying to say. Again, things like moving the actual chair, moving forwards and backwards, turning left and right, and turning round. Let's say like when you're stepping in martial arts, you're stepping around, doing like a circle step and things like that. And a barbed wire, let's say, turning, or just, you know, using your waist and things like that. Turning around, throwing over your knee. If you're sitting there, even if you have got some kind of movement of your waist, and you can utilise that, even let's say, even if you can, I'm just saying, sometimes it might be hard like to say, turn your wheelchair, even if you're fast, in time. It's still a mechanical process. The best masters have come through in martial arts, and the best ones are the ones that don't need to do so much big movements and subtle movements. Big movements and flashy movements. The best ones are the ones who can do such subtle moves. They're just standing there and they just go, bling, and it's flinging away with just a little slight movement of their wrist or connected from their body or whatever it might be. And shoulder over, bang, absorb it from the hand there. They just use that subtleness to send you flying or crushed. And some of the great masters, this is another thing, some of the great masters of martial arts have actually done that in a seated position. I mean, look at another one, okay? Look at the way Aikido practitioners and masters and that, things even blindfolding and stuff too. But sometimes when they're with the subtleness of feeling and they're kneeling on the floor, that's even more hard, isn't it? When you're kneeling there, and it's like a training they do, so like literally training that, sitting on the floor and doing that. So there's judo training, there's jiu-jitsu training too. But I'm talking about Aikido, I'm talking about where they're sitting kneeling on the floor. I've never been a fan of it, I love the stand-up. I'm just trying to say, when they're kneeling down, getting the other person into a position, it's quite possible. And they've got people like Hatsumi and things like that, ninjutsu, people like that, you know, who have such skill. Sitting wouldn't be any hardship for them at all. Any position is a position that you can fight from, and there should be no, for the martial arts one, the master, you know, the one, you're on the path of self-mastery. That's what a martial artist is. That's the difference to other people who are not. So you're on the path of mastery if you're a martial artist, of yourself. Other people are not. Even if they say it, it's a different thing, you know. It's just they're on the path of whatever it be, you know. But if you're on the, let's put it another way. If you're helping yourself in any way, you're helping yourself, and that's all it really is in any way. Okay? All I'm saying, okay, is again, let's go back to what I was saying. And say if you are, you know, training, you know, to martial arts, there should be no limit in front of you. You should be always going for that horizon, you know, moving forward and then helping yourself in every way possible. That's what I believe. I want to say hello and thank you to all of my friends who are watching this too online. You know who you guys are, okay? I will say hello to a few people while you're here. Of course, Josh, okay? Hi, Josh. It's inspired by Josh, okay? Anybody else, friends of Josh too, or whatever. I want to say hello to Gemsley, Rick, Dan, Max, Jason, okay, that's Crooked Ninja 5, Adam Phillip, and of course Bill, the man. Okay, hi Bill again. Okay, that's Black Sword Shinobi. Anyone who's watching, okay, I really hope you enjoy my videos. And what I can say to you, you know, all the crew, okay. Anyone who's still watching my videos, you know, I hope you're all okay. This is a series for everybody. Okay? I'm trying to send some positiveness and open-mindedness to everybody. I'm going to be making some philosophy videos soon too, and science type, like philosophy for life and helping yourself video, deep stuff about life and all kinds of open your mind, logical stuff. Because I make all these raps, you know, raps and stuff. I make all these fun movie videos, and I also make hardcore martial arts training videos and stuff. And this is another series here, you know, that I'm doing. I think it's quite important to help everybody as well as Chairbound people. The same way I hope all of my videos can help all of you guys, including the Chairbound people. So, Josh, as I say, you know, we're all one family, that's what it is. And Josh, I want to say to you, you know, you're great. It's like you wouldn't say like the weak person, the thin person like me or whatever, or the young or the old, the man, the woman or whatever, the blind or whatever it might be. You wouldn't say that another person is compared to another person, like a big strong guy and a weak person. You wouldn't say. Martial arts talks about the control of your power. Learning, so ultimately you're not even controlling that anyway, the opposite. So using your power and your technique, the technique which comes from a certain kind of training of your certain power, you must do it combination. It's like that comes, you know, and then you're able to do magic and work wonders, okay, almost. And people might take it as magic, and I'm speaking bullshit, but seriously, it's not at all, it's serious. And we're going to get on to certain techniques, okay, so don't worry, we're going to get into looking at certain techniques as we move along. Also, take elements, okay, of the sitting down, the seated, I'll put it that way, take elements and techniques that I show of the seated training, and train that in the stand-up, everybody, and elements of the stand-up study that, okay? For the seated people, I want you to also study that too. And everybody stand all elements, okay? And be open-minded to all kinds of training and all kinds of arts in life, because that's what martial arts is about, okay? We have to train as traditional martial arts, I believe, to stay, that's the best route to train to martial arts, and be true to the self, okay? The elements of yin and yang, okay, that's yin-yang, okay, studying all that, okay, balance your life, it basically means, and all opposites and balancing, and finding balance, okay? That's what I will say to you there. It's the same as like, I don't like the ground grappling, fighting and all that. But it's like everybody's got to understand a bit of each to help each other, everything does. Yeah. I will say to you quickly, okay, before I go, the last point I will say is, things like when you're in a low position, like standing in a low stance now, which can be very strong, very strong. Like that's why sometimes the shorter people have like an advantage over the tall people. It's like the thin people have an advantage over the more bigger built ones sometimes, because they can move a lot more flexible and they're not so bulky and that, where their strength might not be so powerful, they can move more fast and they've got different kind of flow, I'm very flexible, I train to be a power within my structure, It's like the people that are shorter, though, I was saying than taller people, they have that ability to sort of sneak under an arm, or let's say, get that shot in and defend really well, and things like that. It's the same thing, so when you're seated, it shouldn't be as such. This is a way you can look at it, I'm saying, for a positive way. You don't need to look at it as though you are in such a weak position, vulnerable, you're sitting there, which, truthfully, it can be. You're just sitting there and somebody coming to attack you with a baseball bat, a knife, whatever, or their fists, or a group of people. That could be a very horrific, for most people, that could be a very frightening thing if you can't even move it, you know what I mean? It's almost as though you're tied there, but it's like you just can't run away and turn so easily or stuck. You could be, it's like not easy. You say, I'll turn around to fight the guy, you pick me up to fight, but it's not that easy, you know what I mean? Back fist or a block, you might have some techniques, but it's not that easy to fight them off. Someone from behind you are more dangerous, right? So this is that, but it's like, you wouldn't say that, you wouldn't put yourself in any situations. A martial arts warrior, Budo, from martial arts, you wouldn't properly, you wouldn't back down anyway, would you, and say, well, no, you wouldn't say, well, I've got nothing I can do, I'm just going to be beaten to death here. You wouldn't, would you? You would say, look, I'm training my power, I'm training my ability, I'm training my skill, and this is what I trained for, and I'm ready for anything. And Hatsumi would if he was sitting down, you'd probably be drinking a cup of cocoa, you know what I'm saying? Not even put his gi on, he put his pajamas on there, just got out of bed, cocoa, blindfold straight on, can bring it on, yo. You know what I mean? Just get them all collapsed up, wrapped up. But that's what I'm talking about. That's the attitude I'm saying. So we don't care, and we will help ourselves in health and fitness and self-defense and be ready for anything. And come on, let's do it. And it's not a joke, really. I mean, that's what it's all about. So that's what I'll say there. It's like, why do people train archery? Word up, crooked ninja fighter. You know what I mean? Why? Why not just fight with your hands? Well, the reason is very simple. It's like, it's going beyond that. You want to learn all kinds of art. So yes, you can learn archery, horse riding, whatever. The ancient samurai back in the day wouldn't say like, oh man, I've got to get off my horse to fight. You know what I mean? You can't use horses because it's not realistic. When sometimes the horse could be like a horsebound. You know what I mean? Horseback bound, or like the people that are not on horseback, or they're non-horseback bound, they're standing. That's ridiculous, You know what I mean? It's like they put on their armour when they go out for battle. So you've got to put your armour on. You've got that mentality when you're in that chair. It's like, I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm at a lower position. I'm sitting in that chair. That means somebody's standing in front of you. They're standing. The guy's got to reach over and lean down to grab me. He's going to be usually they're going to be, from whatever angle it's going to be, they've got to lean over to get you and attack you, right? So they put themselves off balance. By going with that flow, you can topple them motherfuckers, excuse my language. Use your chair, the whole thing, like a strong-rooted thing, as though you're standing there anyway. So you're going to topple him over, smack his ass, with a frozen shuffle. I'm trying to say, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Though, if someone goes over there, you can still fight. The guy's leaning over to get you. He's putting himself off balance. Usually you should stand up straight and erect like that when they're leaning over. You put yourself balanced. So when that person leans over to get you and striking and certain things, you can get him into a position, you know what I'm saying? His head's so high up there, so it's harder for you to reach up and hit his head. But he's also got to reach down to hit your head. His gut's open to attack, his groin, size, same thing as I'm trying to say. And again, you've got that whole, when you're sitting, it's as though you're already in a low position. I can take a chair away now and show my strong leg, and so I'm saying I'm using it anyway. See, the more relaxed I am, the better, man. I just chill. You know what I mean? Do the real deal. But you've got to be careful and take that into account. You can't block an attack. Hit the head so high there, you might be it's too high reaching up. You've got to cover yourself. Well, that's in the fighting aspect, okay? So we'll look at some more techniques as we go along, okay? This is another first one here, talking about this whole thing, okay? And remember, you don't want to put yourself in a fighting confrontation situation anyway. You don't want to go in the middle, in between a group of people, and standing or sitting, right? You want to be where you can line them all up, so you put a wall behind you, close the door behind you, lock it, put things between you anyway. You know what I mean? To prevent is better than cure anyway, they say, right? So if there's something you can use around you, such as a tripwire, crooked ninja fire. Now you keep beating me to it. I'm just trying to say, you know what I mean though, yeah? Yeah? Thinking ahead. You wouldn't think about, oh no, how am I going to fight when I'm in that chair? Or how am I going to, prepare myself for that? Or how am I going to, no, it's like, that's what you train, but it's like martial arts is beyond that, it's the larger scale. It's like, how can I prevent the enemy forces from entering my, from coming past the fort, entering the fort, let's say, the wall. If they go beyond this wall, they need to cross the moat, let's say, protect the castle, you know what I mean? All this, you know what I'm saying, yeah? Just like, you protect that. When they come close, if you have to use your fighting, just like Rick said, yeah, you have to use your fighting ability, then that you're in a bad situation. You should be using that stealth, that wiseness, the wisdom and whatever anyway, to, do it. So it's like if you're in your castle and somebody comes in your castle, you know what that means? That's the same as you're in your chair, sitting there and somebody's come up and now you have to fight. They should not be able to enter your castle. They should be able to enter your circle, inner circle, outer circle, beyond that, not even enter your realms. They shouldn't be able to see you. You should be able to prevent them from even wanting to attack you. And that's very hard to do. We're not doing mind reading. We can read the situation, and we can read our situation, study your house. Is it safe enough? Things like that. Okay, so it's like, yeah. Okay, so again though, being prepared, we're taking it back to the most dangerous situation. That's what we're doing training martial arts, so if someone, and all of that, so if someone does come up to attack us and we're in a chair, we can also defend ourselves. And this is what this series is about, okay? Taking the kung fu from a relaxed, chill out, sitting down position, and then finishing off your adversaries who are trying to fuck you up. Excuse my language, but seriously, protecting yourself, that's what I really mean. Okay? And keeping healthy and fit too, okay? And positive mind. And take some philosophies and ideas out to help you in your life. Thank you for watching. See you in the following videos. Okay, we're going to be getting into techniques. Just some simple ones, one by one, and I'll just dish them out. I'll just put them out as we go along. Okay, thank you again, everybody, and thank you, Josh. Okay, that's Uncle Cow for the support and for inspiring to make this. And I hope you love it, and everybody. Okay, I hope you've learned a lot, even just from this simple rambling here. Okay, everybody. I hope it's opened your mind more. You're strong like a rock. You're sitting there. The rock doesn't need to stand up and move around. You just sit there. You know what I mean? The whatever, you know what I mean? You're just there, heavy like that. But wind, when they come in to attack you, you just slap them down, You can use this deepness here, you see what I'm saying? Use it. And my teacher from the 5-animal Kung Fu master I used to train with a long time ago, he used such subtle movements, and things like that to dispatch people. I've seen it. It's just amazing. But you know what I mean, yeah? you've got to train some power, and you can't be dreaming about it, okay? And like, you know, even like Uncle Cow said, Josh said about like playing ninja and that. It's not playing ninja with some weapons or a bare hand. No, it's being real. Because if you're not being real, that's the way I treat my life and the way I treat my martial arts training on the whole. If I'm not being real, if I'm not being, you know, to a great extent, the best Shaolin or martial arts warrior I can be, in my, just behind closed doors at home, doing real training to whatever extent. If I'm not doing that, you know, I'm a fake ass mother effer, lying about shit to myself and fooling myself like a weakling. Weakling. Don't need someone to tell me, I tell myself. I choose the path of martial arts, I walk the path of martial arts, and don't let any mother effer affect my emotional, you know, attitude in my life. Stay focused and train and always know you can do better. Thank you very, very much for watching. Stay positive in your life, train hard and stay safe. Thank you everybody. Thank you.